Alright guys, finally, after what feels like forever, we've got something I know a lot of you have been waiting for. Aiku is officially getting another rework. Yeah, that's right. The man himself, one of the most iconic defenders in Blue Lock Rivals, is confirmed for a rework. And if you've been following the updates, this is huge news. Now before I dive into it, depending on when you're watching this video, the update might already be out, or it might be dropping in less than a day. Either way, this next update is going to be big. Because as most of you already know, this is the patch where a bunch of weaker or outdated styles are being vaulted, basically removed from the spin pool temporarily while the devs work on rebalancing and rebuilding them. If you've been keeping up with my past videos, or if you've seen what the lead devs wrote in the official Blue Lock Rivals Discord, then you already know how this system works. Styles that are outdated, underused, or just low in quality are temporarily deleted from the game. You can still play them if you already own them, but you can't obtain them again until their rework is finished. So yeah, today we're not going through the entire vault list again. I've talked about that enough already. But there's one name I really want to focus on, Aiku. Now, you probably remember that Aiku already had a rework once before, and let's just be honest here. It was one of the worst reworks in the game. Like, for real, it didn't even feel like Aiku anymore. Instead of making him a defensive powerhouse like everyone expected, they basically turned him into a weird striker-style hybrid that had no real identity. He wasn't tanky, he didn't have control over positioning, and his so-called defensive abilities barely mattered in an actual match. The devs themselves even admitted later on that his rework completely failed to capture what made Aiku special. And because of that, they decided to revert him back to his old version in one of the more recent patches. But now, they're taking it one step further. They're vaulting him again, and this time, they're rebuilding him from scratch. And the best part? They've already confirmed that a full Ike rework is officially on the way. Now, when the lead devs start using words like confirmed rework, that's when you know it's actually happening soon. They don't use that word unless the concept is already being developed, or at least fully written out internally. So if you connect the dots, with Aiku now vaulted, his old rework being acknowledged as a failure, and the devs saying confirmed rework, it's basically guaranteed that we're getting his new version very soon. My personal guess? Late October or November. Because the devs said they've already got the next update cycle planned, which means AIKU'S rework is probably already in their roadmap. Maybe not this patch, but definitely in the next one. So yeah, we can officially start expecting AIKU'S full return. And this time, it looks like they're actually going to do him justice. Now here's where things get even more interesting. Alongside the confirmation, we also got a new poll related to Aiku. And this poll is basically asking the community what kind of version they want to see when he comes back. The question was something like, what would you want for Aiku when he comes back after his vaulting? And then they added that it was just a random poll out of curiosity, not confirming a release window yet. But come on, we all know that when devs post a poll like this, it means they're already working on ideas. The poll had three main options. A version that focuses more on the U20 match arc, also a version focused on NEL-related content, and finally a balanced mix between both arcs. And right now, the option that's leading is the one focusing on the NEL content, which makes sense since the game itself has been heavily leaning toward the NEL arc lately. But what's really cool is that the devs even teased a concept for what his NEL-based Awakening cutscene could look like. They didn't show like animations, but they gave us enough to understand the vibe. More aggressive, more polished, more cinematic. Still, even they admitted that Aiku isn't nearly as cool in the NEL as he was in the U20 arc. They literally said, alright, not gonna lie, he's not nearly as cool in the NEL as he is in the show. So what that tells me is that they're planning to mix both arcs together, use some of the defensive intelligence and confidence from U20, but combine it with the flair and speed of his NEL design. Basically a true balanced defender, and honestly that's exactly what Aiku needs to be. Not another striker with a dash and a generic shooting move. We already have enough of those. He should stand out. He should feel like the kind of player who can read the field, anticipate movements, and control space like a real defensive commander. That's what made his OG moveset so good in the first place. Back in the original version, his moves felt unique. They weren't about flashy animations or huge effects. They were about control. You could bait opponents, intercept passes, and force bad shots. It felt like chess, not boxing. That was AIKU'S identity. And I think the devs finally understand that now. Because one of the things they wrote in the Discord was that AIKU'S rework is meant to make him a truly balanced defender. If they actually stick to that idea, not another striker copy rework, not another random dash move, this could easily end up being one of the best returns we've had all year. Let's also talk about what kind of abilities he might get this time. So far, based on what's been hinted, we can expect a combination of U20 defensive abilities and NEL-based control or pass-oriented skills. His awakening cutscene could be something inspired by his U20 leadership moment, like him analyzing the opponent's movements or locking them down with a wide defensive field. Maybe even a mechanic that lets him predict the enemy shot and automatically block it if timed correctly. I'd love to see something that rewards positioning and reading the opponent, rather than just pure speed. And since the devs mentioned they want him to be a mix, I think we'll also get at least one move inspired by Neil. Maybe a faster steal animation, or a stylish interception with some VFX. The goal, at least from what we've seen, is to make him feel modern while still keeping his classic identity. That's the version of AIKU I've wanted since his first rework failed. And honestly, I have to give the devs some credit here. They're clearly learning from their mistakes. When AIKU first got reworked, they turned him into something completely different. Now, after all the feedback, they're not only acknowledging it, but actively going back to rebuild him properly, with a clear focus on balance and identity. That's the kind of direction this game needs right now. Too many styles feel like copies of each other. Striker dashes, quick steals, flashy awakenings. It's all starting to blend together. If AIKU can come back as a real defender, something that actually changes how you play and how you think during a match, then that's the kind of update that could actually shift the meta again. Not by being overpowered, but by bringing something new. So yeah, let's sum it up. AIKU'S new rework is officially confirmed. He's part of the current vault list, meaning he's temporarily being removed from the spin pool while they rebuild him. He already had one of the worst reworks in the past, but now the devs are taking another shot. This time focusing on making him a true balanced defender. A new poll has been released asking players what kind of direction they want for him. U20, NEL, or a mix, with the NEL-focused option currently in the lead. And from what the devs said, his new moveset will likely be a hybrid, combining his strategic, defensive nature from U20 with a bit of NEL-style flair. If everything goes according to plan, we'll probably see this rework sometime between late October and mid-November. I don't know about you guys, but personally, I'm really hoping they nail this one. Because AIKU has so much potential, not just as a defender, but as a completely different kind of playstyle compared to the current meta. And if they actually make him feel like that again, that cold, calculating genius who can shut down anything that moves, I think he could easily become one of the most fun and unique styles in the entire game. Just please, devs, don't turn him into another dash plus shot combo machine. Give him something that makes him AIKU. Anyway, that's all I've got for today. The next update is right around the corner. Maybe already out by the time you're watching this. So we'll see if there are any new sneak peeks for AIKU, or hints about his rework. But one thing's for sure, AIKU is coming back, and this time, hopefully, he'll actually feel like the defensive king he was always meant to be. Thanks for watching, and as always, I'll see you guys in the next one.